Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this one we're going to be going through all of this gear I have in front of me. This is all out of my backpack that I use for camping. I treat it as kind of a camping slash bug out bag. Because I go camping and actually use all this stuff, I've managed to, I don't know, make it fit my needs, I guess, over the years, and it suits me perfectly as a bug out bag. So what I will do, you're gonna have to bear with me, there is a river behind us in that direction. Hopefully it doesn't ruin the audio. I won't know until I get home, so bear with me on that one. What I will do though is I might rewind time to when this was all in my backpack, and I'll break it down bit by bit, and we'll go through all the different compartments and how it all fits in there and how it all goes together and why I chose it. The pack that I use is a 511 Rush 72. I don't know, not the best pack, not the worst pack, I just think it works well for what I use and how I use it. I used to just use some old backpack that I had, and a friend of mine had a Rush 72, and I saw him using it and how easy it was to just open everything out, because they're like a clamshell design, which I'll show you in a sec. And I just thought, oh yeah, that's perfect, and it holds, it's big enough to hold everything that I need. So it's a Rush 72, they call it that because it's supposed to be a 72-hour pack for obviously 3 days. So it's good bug out bag size. So as I was saying, I keep everything, like things that I want to quick access to or that I use more often, I'll keep on the outside or in these front pouches. So I'll go through this one first. Basically, you've got two zippers on this one. Just unzip it and it'll all fold out pretty easily. Try and do this so you guys can see it. First thing I have is my gloves. These are mechanics, and they're called impact gloves. I like the mechanics gloves, I think most people do. I see a lot of people using them online. These ones, I don't know what model exactly they are, but they're not the cheapest ones, they're not the most expensive. I just like these ones because they've got leather for most of the glove. They've got a little bit of synthetic on the back, but some of my older gloves used to have synthetic in here, and what I'd find is, as I'd be handling the fire and things like that, or making fires, I'd end up melting between the fingers. So I upgraded to these, and I've never had a problem. Really good quality, as you can see. Mostly leather, nice and strong, hard wearing. They're my gloves. So next one, obviously you want it to be easy to access. A little first aid kit. Honestly, this is one of the things that I think I could probably do with upgrading the most, is a first aid kit, because I've seen some of the other guys out there and they've put a lot of thought into their first aid. It's just a basic one. It's actually two first aid kits that I put together, so it's better equipped than what it was. I won't go through it in detail now, but it's all just packed in there. I've got a snake bandage, which is pretty important in Australia. I've also got some Panadol and basic things. I've got a puffer in here in case someone's got asthma. Personally I don't have it, but I've been with people before that have had asthma out in the bush and we didn't have a puffer, and it was pretty scary, so I keep a puffer now just in case. My knife, so the knife that I use is the Mora Garberg. It's a stainless steel full tang knife, as you can see that. I'll probably go and do a more in-depth review on my knives, and this one in particular, in the future. I just really like this one. It's a Scandi grind, made in Sweden. I wasn't fussed whether it was stainless or carbon. I think stainless is good because obviously it's not going to rust, but then carbon's got its advantages as well. Nice simple leather sheath. You can buy this one in like a modular sheath. I don't really like that one. I just like simple, you know, hard wearing. And that was the idea with it, getting a full tang. It's really nice to strike fires with this one. It's got a really sharp spine on it. Really easy to keep an edge on it. Feels good. It's like, in my opinion, it's nearly perfect. So I'll try and give you a closer look at some of these things. don't know if that's even, there we go. Hopefully that focused. I can't see from here, but I will go and do a more in-depth video in the future on that one, I think. That's my knife, and along with that I've got a sharpener. This is just an easy lap, diamond stone. It's good size for most knives. I like using this one with the machetes and axes as well. I'll move this guy along. So we've got, actually this one I'm probably going to have to try and give you a close-up of. It's a little multi-tool. It's actually like a little screwdriver, and this one you unscrew this little cap on the top and you just pour out the little bits inside. It's mainly the reason I have this, although it has Phillips and flathead as well. I mainly use it for the Torx bits, for working on pocket knives and stuff. Obviously most of the pocket knives that you get, the one I'm carrying on me, the Leatherman, this is a Skelly tool. This has got Torx screws, so if you want to service your knife you need a Torx driver, so that's what that's for. Next we've got folding saw. It's just a Barco Laplander. I'm sure most of you have seen these before. Nice and lightweight. They work really well. Blade on them's good. Simple, pretty cheap too. And inside this top pocket we've got a few things. Hopefully it doesn't all fall out. These are just some black nitrile gloves that I keep in a Ziploc bag, mainly for when I go hunting, but also would work well with the first aid kit, you know, so you don't get blood and stuff on your hands, and also you don't get whatever's on your hands in whatever you're working on. Keep some Cedar Summit tent pegs. Pretty sure these are aluminium. Yeah, aluminium tent pegs. I know you can make your own tent pegs out there, and that's cool and all, but sometimes it's nice just to have them pre-made, and they're really lightweight and don't take up much space, so I like using these. And there's 3 because that's just how many I've found I need with my particular shelter setup. This is an absolute lifesaver, completely underrated bit of kit. I don't think I'd go anywhere in Australia in the summer without one of these. It's probably the same, got a mosquito on me right now actually, probably the same in other places that you go. It's just a head net, keep away bugs. Mainly I use it for flies, but it's good for mosquitoes as well. Flies during the day, mosquitoes at night. I've been some places where I probably would have gone insane if I didn't have that, because you just spend the whole day doing this, and you can't, you know, just sit down and relax. You got flies trying to get in every which way they can. I actually want to get another one of these and keep it in the car. That's the only one that I own, but that one, that's been a lifesaver. So if anyone wanted a suggestion of an underrated bit of kit, that's going to be it. This is a little survival sort of kit that I put together. It's in a little camera bag. I might actually just come around the front and show you this one. It's just a little camera pouch that I've put some bits and pieces in. Got a lighter, little mini compass. Personally I think that's useless, but I just put it in there because I had it. A little Swiss Army knife. It's got scissors and tweezers and things like that I use. Good for doing your nails and whatever. Tweezers, good for ticks. Little nail file. On the inside I got a fire steel. Got a little film canister that's full of cotton buds that are soaked in Vaseline. It's probably about 20 cotton buds in there, and you can start a fire with, well, one definitely, but maybe even half a cotton bud. So if you've got, you know, no dry tinder, you just use one of those. They work really well. This is another little sharpener by Easy Lap. Little diamond stone. I use that for sharpening everything. Sharpen axes, machetes, knives. And I've got little signal mirror or something that you can use if you've got something in your eye. And next we've got a compass. This is a silver. It's the brand. It's always good to have a decent compass, just for not getting lost. I've got a couple of Bic lighters, nice bright colours. I used to buy black ones, so the one in this little kit's a black one, just because I thought they looked cool, but then I started to realise that it's probably better getting bright colours so you don't lose them. Easier to find if you drop them. And then along with fire starting, I've actually got this. It's pretty cool. It's a little magnifying glass. It's actually got a LED light on it as well, so you can use this for, you know, splinters and ticks and things like that. But the main reason I got it is for fire starting. You know, so you've got a few different ways. You got the fire steel, lighters, and then if all else fails, you got this, which theoretically should never run out. And you know, obviously you need it to be sunny, but it's another way you can make fire. One more thing in this front section, I keep a little SAS survival guide, and I keep it in a Ziploc bag so it's nice and dry. If I flip this up, on this front pocket here there's just a small section, and this is where I keep my headlight. Actually this is an OLIGHT headlamp that they sent out to me to test out. It is the Array 2S. They sent this to me recently. I'm not sponsored by them, but they do send me some stuff out to test out every now and then. And so far so good. I was using it last night. So you've got, let me see, got the standard red light, and you can change the brightness of that. It's got 3 different brightness settings. Then you've got floodlight. Again, you've got the different brightness settings on that. And then you've got the flood and the spot, and different brightness settings on that one as well. It's got this little waving thing that you're supposed to be able to control it with. I personally haven't been able to get that to work, but apart from that, it's really good. USB rechargeable, which works well with my little power setup. I'll show you in a sec. Nice and bright. I don't know, it's good little headlight. So that's what I keep in the top. And on the sides, so I've got 2 identical pockets on the sides, and what I found is they're perfect size for keeping my water bottles. They're just stainless steel water bottles, so I've got 2 of those. And they're just single wall stainless steel, so you can boil things in them, nice and simple. Yeah, don't really know what else to say. I think it's good to have stainless steel, and it's good to have single wall when you go for water bottles, just because if you need to boil water or whatever. And they're pretty durable, nice and simple. The last thing I've got on the front, on the outside of the bag, is the machete, and I keep that locked on here with one of these carabiners. So these carabiners are made by Night Eyes, and they're rated at 75 pounds or 34 kilos. They've also got this little locking mechanism on them, so you can lock the carabiner and it won't open, and then you just slide it down and then you can open it. The one I've got on there at the moment, it's a Condor, I think it's a bushcraft parang. It's definitely a parang. I think they call it the bushcraft parang, maybe. I'm not sure. I do switch out my knives pretty regularly, or the big ones at least. Sometimes I'll have a hatchet on there. I've got some kukris at home as well. This is the one that lives on there most often though. I like how simple it is, and there's really nothing to go wrong with it. I honestly think this would last forever if you look after it. Nice and strong. I use it for chopping firewood and making shelters, making tent pegs, whatever you got to do. It's easy to sharpen. and yeah, just never let me down. So I think it's the Condor Bushcraft Parang. Anyway, that just lives on the outside of the bag in its sheath. Only thing I'd say is they probably need to design this little thing better, because every time you pull it out, the knife cuts that a little bit, a little retaining strap. So to open this one, you just got these straps. You just pop them, and then you unzip the two zips, and the whole thing just opens out like a clamshell. So on the inside you've got sort of the main compartment, and then you've got all these little pockets. I'll do the pockets first, and we'll work our way to the bigger stuff. So hopefully you can see this. You've got these little net pockets with zippers. There's 1, 2, 3 compartments. In the smaller compartment, I just keep these little containers. They're sort of plastic containers, but in this one I keep it full of salt for seasoning, and this one I normally would have pepper in it, but it's empty at the moment, so they're just good for seasoning or whatever, making food taste better. I've got the Sea to Summit titanium spork. Pretty self-explanatory. It's a spork. It's lightweight and it's overpriced, and yeah, works, does the job for me. Another fire steel. I just like to have a couple of them. I feel like anything that runs out, it's always good to have a couple of. So another fire steel. And then in the next compartment down, got this. I actually bought this the other day just to keep things together. It's a little pencil case, and if I open that up carefully, we can see it's just, I use it to keep my toothbrush and I've got some Wilderness Wash, I think they call it. It's just biodegradable soap, and some floss. It's just a little hygiene kit. I like to keep it in there. It's nice and compact and keeps it all clean. Insect repellent. That one, pretty self-explanatory. Same with the head net. Pretty important out in the bush. I keep a life straw in there. I've never used it. It's honestly, this is just for an emergency. I would probably just boil the water, or bring my own water, and kind of work my way down the list. I'd bring my own water. When that runs out, I'd boil water. If that's not an option, I've got the life straw just in case. Next we've got, well, this is two things actually. So I've got just a bandana. Again, good for filtering water and stuff. You can use it, it's like a multi-use item. Use it for pretty much whatever you want. But inside that I keep my little alcohol stove. I'm sure you guys have seen these before, but it's just a little alcohol stove. I think it's made by Trangia. I can't remember. Anyway, open that up. You fill it up with alcohol, with spirits, and it's just a little burner. It's part of my cooking kit, which I'll show you in a sec. It's in a separate part of the bag. But yeah, nice and simple, good quality. And the last compartment on the front here, we've got just the actual fuel for that stove. So that's just methylated spirits, 500ml. This thing's never leaked on me. It's actually really good. I was a bit worried when I got this that I was going to have methylated spirits all throughout my bag. This is made by Trangia, made in Sweden, so I guess that's why it doesn't leak. But that's good. That goes with my stove. So that's half a litre of fuel for that, and actually you get quite a few meals out of that. It would last a long time. Last thing I've got in the pocket is just some spare paracord. Self-explanatory really, we all know what paracord is. Move this down, I'll show you the main compartment. I'm running out of room now. So in the main compartment We'll start with the power setup. This is the Goal Zero Nomad 7. This is the older version. I think they've got a newer, slicker looking version. It does exactly the same thing though, from what I understand. It's just a little folding solar panel. I think it's 7 watts. I think that's why they call it the Nomad 7. This one's good though. You can hook it onto the outside of the backpack. You know, I've got the carabiners on the outside there. I could just hook that on the back. And the way that I've got this set up is in this little zip compartment in the back. I actually keep a power bank. So that's just a Belkin power bank. This charges with USB-C, which I have here. So I have a little USB-C cable, which I can plug in to the USB port, and then plug in to charge this, zip it all up, and then while it's in the sun, I'm essentially saving that power for later. And I can use that to, well, same USB-C will actually charge the head port, what are we calling it? Head torch. I also have a little OLIGHT cable. This is just for charging my other torch, which I don't actually have here, but I normally carry a little OLIGHT, I think it's a S30R3, little OLIGHT baton torch. And then I've got an iPhone charger as well, so I can charge my phone, my torches, and the power bank with the cables that I've got in there. It's a nice little all-in-one portable solar power solution. As far as my shelter is concerned, this does change depending on what I feel like and what I'm doing, where I'm going. I've got, well, this one is the Hennessy hammock. It's the Explorer Deluxe Extra Large, I don't know. Basically it's a hammock with a built-in insect net, and you've also got the rain fly that goes over the top like a tarp. So it's an all-in-one shelter system. Along with that, I've got the Grand Trunk. These are the hammock straps, so they go around the tree trunks. I won't get them out because it's a pain in the ass putting them away, but basically they're just really strong straps, and they've got these this stitching all the way along, so you can put it around the trunk, and depending on which level you hook it on, you'll, you know, either tension or loosen the hammock. So much easier than like using the included ropes, which you can do if you want, but I always find that I'll set it up and I'll have to untie them and retie them and untie them and retie them just to get it right. This makes the whole setup so much quicker. In the back pocket here we've got just a poncho, but yeah, I just find ponchos are good because this will go over me and the bag, keep everything dry. In an emergency you could use it as a shelter, or yeah, I don't know, I think it's good to have a poncho. A lot of uses. You can kind of count that as a shelter and clothing all in one. And the last thing I've got in here, which I'll move the bag out of the way so we can fit everything in. The last thing that I've got is my esky, and most people wouldn't bring an esky with them in their backpack, but it fits really well in this pack. Keep food in here, obviously, being an esky. Now this is just set up at the moment as a bug out bag, so I've got this Long Life backcountry cuisine, I think they're called. But let's just, you know, add water, add boiling water, and you've got yourself a meal. Keep a couple of those in there for emergency food. If I was going camping, I'd probably swap that out and have actual like fresh food and stuff, and then I'd put an ice block in there, and that's why I got the esky. But I also keep in here my cooking setup. So pretty simple little stainless cup. This one I've had for a while, so it's got a few cracks and stuff in it, but I don't know, it's sort of a sentimental thing. Just a nice single wall cup. I've chucked in the fire quite a few times. And then this is my actual cooking setup. I like this. Actually, I'll probably go through this in more detail in a separate video because I think it deserves its own video. But I'll give you a quick explanation. we've got the lid, which is also a plate, so you can use that on top there if you're boiling something, but you can also use it as a plate. Got fry pan, little handle, and then a saucepan, and then inside that I've got the actual stove that I use. So you got all those three there, and then this is the stove. Some of you may have heard of it before. It's made by Firebox. This one's the Firebox Nano. Just open it up, hang on a sec. There we go. So this is the Firebox Nano. It's a little fold out. I might actually bring this around to give you a better look at it. So it's a little fold out stove, little titanium fold out stove, and you've got these little folding legs here that you can swivel around, and you put your fry pan or your saucepan on top of that, and in here you can actually put the alcohol stove, and it's compatible with that. You just use these little things here and they hold it in place. But what I really like about it, which is why I use this setup, and it took me quite a while to work all this out, if you run out of fuel and you're out in the middle of the bush, you can just burn sticks and leaves and things in here. So came up with this system using the alcohol stove because it's nice and easy and simple, but then if you run out of fuel, you can just use whatever you find on the ground. You just burn sticks and leaves, and you can, yeah, essentially never run out of fuel. It comes in this little case. It's got a little mat that's like a fireproof mat you can put down to stop from burning. You know, if you, like, let's say you were putting it on a table, you know, you can have that down, and you put the actual box down, and this X pattern in the box, that's where the actual stove sits, so it'll catch all your embers. It's, yeah, great little bit of kit. But that's all the gear, I guess. By no means is it a perfect setup. I'm sure there's people out there that have got better ideas. Like I said, I could probably improve the first aid kit. It's not the most compact setup. I should say as well, if I go camping, normally I'll take a sleeping bag, which is one of the things I want to upgrade. I want to get a down sleeping bag, because the one I've got, it's about, you know, this big, and you have to strap it to the outside of the pack, and it adds weight and size. You know, so there's things that I got to improve, but the reality is I actually use all this stuff. I take this is a camping bag and a bug out bag. I don't just keep it there and, you know, fantasize about when the world's going to end and I'm going to use my backpack to survive. I actually just use this as a camping bag, but because it's everything that I need, you know, to live out in the bush for a few days, that's essentially what a bug out bag, you know, is for me. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the setup. If there's suggestions, questions, leave it in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one.